Okay, good morning. And today we will see the conditional constructs. Conditional constructs. So the constructs which works on conditions. The constructs which works on conditions. We have two types of conditional constructs. One is decision constructs and other is looping constructs like C++. Decision constructs and looping constructs. So a if statement is used for simple if. Okay, for testing some conditions. If a less than b, then we can give a statement. If a less than b, we can give a statement. For example, if a less than b, system.out.println hello. It means that if the condition is true, then only that statement gets printed. If a less than b, space system.out.println hello, it means that that line gets executed only when the condition is true. Okay, then we can use the other construct called if else. So if the condition is true, do something, and if it is false, do some other thing. That is if else. So else portion indicates the false part. If a less than b, system.out.println hi, else system.out.println hello. Okay, then if the condition is true, then the first part gets executed, and if the condition is false, then the else part gets executed. So it is familiar to all of us that it is like C++. Multiple conditions can be given using if else if ladder. If else if. So it contains multiple steps. If first condition, if the condition is true, then that is executed. If it is not true, condition is not true, it jumps to the else portion where we have given else if next condition. So that gets executed if the condition is true. So that is if else if ladder. Then nesting of if means a if construct given inside another if construct. Nesting of if, or we are using. Then conditional operator, that is for example, if c equal to a greater than b, question mark, the operator comes, then I am giving as a colon b. So this executes like this. If the value of a is greater than b, then the value of a is assigned to c, otherwise the value of b is assigned to c. So this is c equal to a greater than b, question mark, a colon b indicates if the condition is true, the value of a is assigned to c, and if the condition is false, the value of b is assigned to c. And switch statement, as we know, switch works like this. That is switch a means you can by depending on the value of a, it takes multi branches. Case 1 means if the value of a is 1, then the statements which are given in the case are executed. Case 1 are executed. So it is just like a label, and so it executes from top then to bottom, and it executes until it sees a break statement. Likewise, we can give different cases, case 2, etc, and we have a keyword as default for executing these statements if the value does not match the above cases. In this case, case 1 and 2 are given, and so if the value of a is 3, then the default value gets executed. We have to remember that we need to give a break after giving the set of statements there, otherwise the execution comes down to execute the remaining portions. So this is the syntax of a switch statement. So switch can be used as a multi-branching statement. So these are the different types of decision constructs. So next we are looking at the looping constructs. As we saw in C++, we have 3 loops in Java also: for loop, while loop, and do while loop. The necessity of the looping constructs is to execute the statements again and again. If I want to execute a statement 5 times, then I can instruct the program. I can give in the program like do it 5 times using a loop. So I will be using a loop variable for counting. For I is equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. That means I am counting from 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So that is the use of looping constructs for executing the statements again and again. We will see the syntax of for loop, even though we are familiar with that. For I equal to 0, I less than equal to 10, I plus plus. Okay, so the body of this loop gets executed with values of I as 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. up to 10. So the value of the I is used as a counter inside this, and the first part I equals 0 is the initialization part, then I less than equal to 10 is the condition part, and this is the modification or increment part. So first I is initialized to 0, the condition is checked, the condition is true, and so it executes the lines given in the loop. And while seeing this closing bracket, it goes to the increment portion or decrement portion, and after that the condition is again checked, and if the condition is true, it executes again. So this is the logic of this for loop. And for better understanding, if I am giving a print statement here, system.out.println, it means that after the execution of this loop only it comes to this place. And so if I less than equal to 10, it is true and the body gets executed. After that I is incremented to 11, and when the condition is checked, the condition is false, and so it comes out of the loop. And so if I am giving a print here, then the value printed will be 11. I hope that you got the point. So this executes again and again until the condition becomes false. So here the condition becomes false means I is 11, because I was started from 0, then I became 1, I became 2, etc. And when I became 11, it stops the execution of the loop and it comes out of the loop to execute the remaining things beyond the loop. So this is the logic of the for loop. And again I can use this same concept for a while loop also. While I less than 10, here also if the condition is true, the body of the loop executes. Whatever things we are giving inside the body will gets executed if the condition is true. So we should be careful about the initialization part and the increment part while using a while loop. We have to initialize the value as I is equal to 0 or 1 or 2 before the loop, and inside the loop itself we have to make modifications to the loop variable in such a way that after some iterations the loop terminates. Otherwise the loop becomes infinite and it may cause logical, or the system may not come out of the execution, and it will result in an infinite loop. Okay. So this is the while loop, and now we have one more loop called do while loop. Do while loop. So this is opening closing braces, and inside that we are giving the statements which are for execution, and this is syntax for the do while loop. This one shows that the condition is at the end of the loop, and so this loop is a exit control loop. That is, before entering loop there is no restriction or condition checking, and so this executes these statements, and at the end of the loop it checks for the condition, and if it is true then it executes again. Here also we have to make initialization and a modification of the loop variable. Okay. So the difference between this while loop and this do while loop is that the body of this do while loop gets executed at least once, because it is a exit control loop. The other two are entry controlled. They are called so because the condition is checked before the execution of the loop. Okay. And so we have for loop, while loop and do while loop. In this, do while loop is a exit control loop, and the body of this do while loop will be getting executed at least once. And the two statements normally we used along with loops are break and continue. Break and continue are the two statements we use along with loops. Break means break from the current loop. So if you want to stop the execution while it meets a condition, then we can give if that condition is met, then break. Okay, so if a equal to 5, break. It means that when the value of a whenever comes as 5, it breaks from the loop, and it will skip the remaining statements, or it will break from the loop. Then we have continue. Continue is to skip the remaining statements and to continue with the next iteration. So if there is something like this: for I equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus, then inside this, if I am giving as if I equal to 4, continue. Below that I am giving the print statement, system dot out dot println. I am printing I, value of I. Okay. So this indicates that I is initialized from 0. So first of all I is 0. If I equal to 4, continue. I is not 4, so it will not do anything. So I is printed. So the output comes as, first it comes as 0, then 1 will be printed, 2 is printed, 3 is printed. Now the value is 4. The value is 4 now, so it is given as if I equal to 4, continue. Yes, now the I is 4, and so it will skip the remaining steps. It will skip the remaining steps, and it will go with the next iteration. So the 4 is not printed. The loop continues with the next iteration, and I is 5 now, and so again 5 is printed. Likewise 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is printed. Okay. So this is the simple example for continue. And if I am giving a break instead of this continue, what happens is that even though the loop is from 0 to 10, we have given as if I equal to 4, break. Then we will be getting the output like this: 0, 1, 2, 3 will be getting, and if we get this, and since I is equal to 4, it is given as break. So after putting 0, 1, 2, 3, when it finds the value of I as 4, the break gets executed, and so it comes out of the loop, and so the remaining iterations will not work. So this is the difference between this continue and this break. And one more thing is that a for loop can be given inside other loops. It can be given inside for loop, or a while loop can be given inside while loop, etc. And so nesting of loops is possible. Nesting means giving a loop inside another loop. It is possible. And if I am giving a break, that break exits only from the current loop. That break exits only from the current loop. So if I want to exit from the outer loop also, then we have to use a logic like this. That is, we have to use something called labeled loops. So this is having a label as L1, and if this is having a label as L2, then if I am giving like this, break L1, okay, then now it means that if I is equal to 4, break L1 also. So break from outer loop also. So break can be used like this. Also continue can be used like this. So this is done by using labeled loops, and we have to give the corresponding label on which the break or the continue has to be applied. So these are about control structures, decision, and looping constructs. Okay, so these constructs will change the execution order depending on the decisions made or the conditions. Depending on the conditions, the execution path changes. Sometimes some lines are skipped, sometimes some lines are executed again and again. So this execution flow, normally it is from top to bottom. If 5 lines are given, then it will execute from the first line to the 5th line. So if we want to change the execution order like this, skipping or repeating, we can use these conditional constructs. Okay, thank you.